Hi, hi, hi. Merry Christmas, my friends. This is my final week talking about the Tulsa King, and then Zam will be back next week taking over proceedings. It has been fantastic talking about this show for you, and this is episode 6, and this is my spoiler review. So, straight away, we get a twist at the beginning of this episode. Roxy! Remember that girl who seems like an extra throwaway character who works in the stables with Manny? Somebody we should not give a fuck about? Well, we're going to be giving a fuck about her now because we find out at the beginning of this episode that she is a police informant and she's talking to Stacy and Stacy's cop partner, Doug, about the Black Adam biker gang and all of their notorious dealings. But she also brings up Dwight, and this worries Stacy because she doesn't want Dwight involved in anything because then it implements her in shit as well, and it could fuck up her career. She could go to jail. She could lose her pension. There's all types of things that can fuck her up. So yes, she's trying to direct the investigation away from Dwight, but Doug wants to know more about Dwight, and he also wants to get the FBI involved. So yeah, Stacy's really fucked, and it's really interesting. The mob themselves, now after what Dwight did in New York last week, the mob want payback. You know, as Charles would say, he's showing a lack of respect, total disrespect. So he wants to not only kill Dwight, but he wants to kill Dwight's daughter as well. Now Pete gets really pissed off about this. He goes, "What the fuck, man? We're gonna kill your daughter?" And you can tell that Pete and Dwight, they kind of follow a code because they're yesteryear's criminal who may be bad guys, but they have a rule book. While today's criminals don't give a fuck. Kill anybody, kill everybody, as long as I don't get into any shit. And that's what people like Charles and, old Vinny and all these other guys, they kind of represent today's level of mob. And you can see the differences between him and someone like Dwight, who oozes class as well. So during the course of this episode, when White goes back to Tulsa, he gets meeting some of his old members again. He meets up with Tyson and wonders what happened to Tyson, but they couldn't communicate with each other. And it's a really good moment where both of them lie because Tyson gave up his phone when he was arrested, and he mentioned all of this to Dwight. But he also mentioned that the police hacked his phone. That's not true. If you remember, Tyson gave up his password because he needed to take a shit so he could use the toilet. And so he lied to Dwight very casually, and probably it won't come back to haunt Dwight or Tyson. And then when Tyson mentioned the scars on Dwight's knuckles, Dwight just casually mentioned a dog bit him. They're just both lying to each other so simply. I absolutely love it. And now they're back together again. They need to get shit reorganized. After Manny speaks to Roxy, he arranges a meeting with Dwight and the Black Adam McAdam gang. So that goes down, and I'll bring that up right now because I love the way Dwight spoke to the leader, Wall Trip. He just told him straight away, "Doesn't matter what you do, I ain't gonna fucking compromise with you for anything. I'm not even I don't give a fuck about this nitrous gas shit, which you are so heavily involved in. But if I decide to do this again, I ain't gonna compromise with you." And I love it. It's just no, like the way Dwight looks at the Black McAdam gang, like he looks at them like they're nothing. And obviously he does get some retaliation for that, but nevertheless, he's just showing who's the fucking boss here, and I very much appreciated it. As I mentioned earlier, Dwight, he just has something about him that makes him very endearing to the people around him. Body, he's been kidnapped by the fucking biker gang, corrupt police officers, and then in this episode, the FBI, they raid his place, they go through his house, they raid his shop, but his shop has no weed in it, it has no money in it. He's getting really fucked over, but for some reason, he stays loyal to Dwight because later on in the episode, he meets up with Dwight and the rest of the boys are there, like Tyson and Manny and Keller and all these other guys. They're all there, And Bodhi shows his loyalty to Dwight. You see, Dwight has that charm. Probably today's gangsters don't have it. And that's what makes Dwight such a great character. That somebody like Bodhi can say fuck you to the feds. You know, some straight arrow to a degree who just likes to get high can say fuck you to the feds and stay loyal to Bodhi. And Bodhi, he rewards. Sorry, I apologize. Dwight, he rewards Bodhi's loyalty by showing them, look, I have all your weed, I have all your money, you're all good. And you can see Dwight just looking at his crew, this new crew that he's created, you know, with real, like, pride, like, yeah, these are my boys. Now Dwight's work, now he's back in Tulsa, is not complete yet. There's a couple more things he needs to do, and one of them is the horse that roams around the street. You see, he's at the local coffee shop, and he gets talking to a waitress that happens to be played by his daughter, his real life daughter. She's playing the role of a waitress, and she mentions to the waitress about the horse. Where is the horse that comes and roams around the street? And apparently the horse is going to be put down because it's not an obedient horse, you know, it keeps escaping. So Dwight, being the man that he is, he decides to go and to the stables and pays the people there not to put the horse down, and he gives it to the lovely young waitress. And so now she's going to look after the horse, and she takes the horse to the other stables where the lady on the far side here, she happens to be the boss of, and he's going to keep the horse there. He shows her what the cash. She's obviously not interested because she's got lots of money anyway. But yeah, you know, once again, Dwight and his charm is just absolutely magnificent. You know, even he's able to win over this lady for 1 week at least to keep the horse there, while this other young girl, the waitress, takes care of it. Yeah, Dwight, I swear to God, that guy, he is magic. The other thing Dwight decides to do is to invest in Keller's bar. He goes to visit Keller and tells him, you know what, you need a partner. I'm happy to be your partner. And when they get shot out by one of Black Matt Adams' boys, because Black Matt Adams decides to send one guy to shoot up that bar, and they flank that guy and they shoot him, and it happens to be Roxy's boyfriend, they negotiate that, yes, you know, I'm happy to do business with you, Keller and Dwight. They have that negotiation, and that's how the episode ends. But prior to that, we also see Tina's boyfriend getting beaten up. Husband getting beaten up by Charles. Some sort of retaliation by Charles, because he's a bully at the end of the day. He feels hopeless. He doesn't want to not get back at Dwight in any capacity. So instead of targeting the daughter, he targets the son-in-law. He beats him up, breaks his arm, and knocks him out. So we'll see what happens next week regarding that. But yeah, that was another excellent episode. You know, you can see people like Manny. He's very much back into the gangster life now. He's all in. You know, he's part of Dwight's crew. Tyson, he's still very, you know, he's loyal to Dwight. Bodhi's loyal to Dwight. Keller, he's loyal to Dwight. You know, these guys, they love Dwight. You know, they'll fight for him, and it's really good to see. And I very much appreciate it. It's just somebody, you know, a gangster you're willing maybe to die for. I don't know, but you know, it's good to see them. You know, the unity. I love it. You know, he's creating his own mafia here in Tulsa. Maybe somebody to rival eventually the gangs in New York, because you know, if he's creating his own territory in Tulsa, then it's going to be difficult for the people in New York to penetrate that territory, because that's their place. And if they want to go to Tulsa, they have to send their boys, maybe in drips and draps, you know, down to Tulsa to have a go at Dwight. I mean, if that's what happens in the future, who knows? But it's really good to see he's becoming his own kingpin. He's becoming his own Don, and I fucking love it. You know, he's still paying a lot of money. He's still making money for his mob bosses back in New York, and that's the only reason why he's not dead, in my opinion, because he's making the money. But still, if he breaks up with them and then becomes his own guy, that'll be even better, because he's got so much loyalty and respect from the people around him. I fucking love it. This is another good, excellent episode. And I said earlier, the charm of Dwight really shines through. This guy makes people love him, and that's why I love him. You know, even the relationship he has with his daughter is kind of being repaired again to a degree. She's talking to him a little bit more, and even after what probably happened to her husband, she'll still want to talk to her dad because her dad will be probably the best person to look after her. It's great. It's just absolutely great. This is such a great show. I love it. I love the characters. I love the settings. I love the visualization. I love the cinematography. It's, you know, the twists and turns. It's very good. You know, and we're 6 episodes in, and I can't wait for more. And I have to wait another week, unfortunately. But let me know what you think of the Tulsa King episode 6 Stable. Did you like it as much as me? Oh, let me mark it. Once again, I give it 8 out of 10. 8 out of 10. It's just so good. I just can't get enough of this show. I want it every day for the rest of my life. Anyway, take care, and with Christmas coming up, I'd like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Take care now. Bye bye.